I could really understand why in one night he was able to sell 33 orders of Slenderiiz, and why he is continuing to sell more and more. I asked him about how many packages he's sold, and he says, I don't know, 75 to 100. You know, John, we are so thrilled to have you here this morning. So I'm going to let you tell us a little bit about yourself and then share your presentation with us, and let me welcome you to this call and thank you for getting up so early this morning and be willing to share what you've done and your contribution. So good morning, John.
Good morning, Arlene. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Are you on the join.me preview access site right now?
Yes, I am. And I see the slides there. Mm-hmm.
Everything's going good. Okay, I'm going to leave it in this the non-presenter mode, so you guys can see the preview slides off to the left, right?
Okay.
Okay, so you guys can kind of maybe jump ahead a little bit if you want to look at those or write them down or take pictures of them, whatever you guys want to do. But yes, it's early in California, so I might need to start a later call for us Californians later on. But basically, I'm 24, been in network marketing for a few years in a couple different companies, but I've never had a company like this that gave us such a marketable product on the front end and the back end. And that's what I mainly want to talk to you guys about today, is that we are so lucky to have Slenderiiz and Purity as front-end marketable products. What I mean by that is when you're having a webinar or a home meeting or a hotel group event, if you want to start doing things like this, it is so easy to get people to show up to a fat loss meeting where your tagline is how to lose 15 to 25 pounds in 28 days. This whole, the past 60 years of network marketing, they've been selling pretty much this invisible thing called health, whether it was a juice or vitamins or whatever. I think people are kind of over showing up to home meetings to learn about a vitamin. Not that they don't need those things, and you can sell a lot of those on the back end, and you should, because that's where your long-term residual income is going to be. If we only had Slenderiiz, in the average life of our customers is maybe 3 to 6 months, that wouldn't be the best business model. It's a good front-end business model that drives people in, and it helps a whole lot of people, because when people lose weight, they then start thinking about health. When people are overweight and don't like the way they look, they don't really want to hear about vitamins, minerals, fish oil, things like that. They want to lose their weight first. That's what they want to spend their money on. But when they lose the weight, they really become much more health conscious. So, but the fortune's made in the back end and the reoccurring orders, and Slenderiiz is not going to be a forever order. They're going to continue to purchase. So I think it was like a knife company I read about a few years back, and maybe all knife companies do this, I don't know. But they were practically giving the knives away on the front end, on the infomercial, whatever it was, and they were offering lifetime sharpening of the knives for free. So it sounds like a really good deal. Well, the shipping and handling to send the knives and get them back was inflated like, I don't know, $1 or a couple bucks or something like that. And that's where the entire fortune was made for this knife company and maybe a lot of other ones, was the few dollars inflated shipping, because it was recurring. It was over and over every time they got their knife sharpened. So that's where your real fortune is going to be made, and so many millionaires are going to be made in Arx over the next few years is going to be in these back-end recurring orders. So we need to really be able to pump in the front end with these either webinars or group meetings, however you want to do this. You can scale this presentation however you want to do it, whether it's on the internet or in person. So that's what I'm going to be talking to you guys about. It's not just selling the Slenderiiz, but getting upsells, getting people to purchase Optimals, Rejuvenex, Omega Q, and Pure Nourish right there on the spot. Even though you're going to mostly talk about Slenderiiz in the presentation, we're going to kind of feed them in little tidbits of how to condition their mind to why they need these other products, not just for fat loss, but from a health standpoint. And the important thing to understand is people do not care. When they're showing up to the meeting, respect the fact that they're there for fat loss. They're not there for a health meeting. So you have to feed them these products. You have to find out how these products are going to help them from a fat loss standpoint, and also educate them a little bit on why they need to take them for the rest of their lives for a health standpoint. So that'll keep your autoships up, for months and years to come. So I think that's pretty much what I wanted to say about that. So basically, I kind of thank the room for coming and checking out our product on how to lose 15 to 25 pounds in 28 days, and I kind of jump right into it. Now, I've talked to Tim Fells a few times about this stuff. So if you guys were on Wednesday night's call and you heard him talk about the 4 pillars and things like that, I'm going to go over a lot of that stuff because I've been using that, and it's working really, really well, and I have some other stuff in here as well that I hope you guys get some value from. But basically I start with that slide and I kind of go right into it, the 4 pillars of fat loss. I want them to understand why they are overweight and how that it kind of is a simple formula. And then I kind of go into some complicated things, but we want to make this as simple as possible. Remember that complexity is impressive, but simplicity is genius. So if you can get people, you can simplify complex issues and get people to understand. Confused people don't buy, so we need them to understand what we're saying. So whether you're trying to sign someone up as a rep or just as a customer, we need them to understand the business model, which Brilliant Compensation does for us really well. But we still need a very simple solution to get people to understand why this Slenderiiz works so well. Because when you say 100% homeopathic remedy, that sounds weak to people. They're not conditioned to think that homeopathic, it sounds like a mixture of like mushrooms and tea or something to them. They don't think it's gonna work. It kind of sounds gimmicky. People are so skeptical when it comes to weight loss because there's so many scams on the internet about weight loss. So you have to lower their walls and get them to understand why this works so well. So I tell them that. So I'm kind of talking to you guys. I'm not just giving you the presentation. I'm kind of having a conversation with you guys of why I'm saying things the way I'm saying them. So we're going to go over, I like to say, what you eat matters first, because that is the most important one. What you eat matters, so the source of this food. So Tim said it on Wednesday night, if you eat 2,000 calories of Oreo cookies versus 2,000 calories of chicken and vegetables, your body does respond to that differently. Anyone who says that a calorie is a calorie has now studied nutrition very well, because they're not taking into consideration how the food affects your hormone levels and how your body metabolizes things and everything like that. So it's not just the calories in. But on the other hand, how much you eat matters as well, the total calories, because if you eat 5,000 calories of chicken and vegetables a day and you only burn 2,000, you still won't lose weight either, even though the source of the food is good. Now, muscle mass matters because muscle burns calories. A pound of muscle burns on average about 50 calories per day just because you own that muscle. That's why men have a little bit more advantage with fat loss than women do. So I kind of have strength training off to the right, because that's how we add lean muscle tissue to our body. And then how much you burn matters, which would be your cardio, and all that simply does is increases the deficit of our day. So cardio doesn't really build too much lean muscle, maybe a little bit in the legs. But for example, if we're eating 1,500 calories a day and burning 2,000, that's 500 calories a day times 7 days in a week. 3,500 calories is what is in 1 pound of fat. And that's 1 pound of fat that person is holding in their hand. And anytime you guys can get your listeners or viewers to visualize things as well, so you can stimulate their mind with you're speaking, so they're hearing you, they're reading the slides, and now they're seeing this picture. When you can stimulate more senses like that, they're much more likely to remember what you said and understand the presentation a lot more. So I really like to throw in pictures whenever I can. So that pound of fat, that works really well, because if you guys ever do one of these meetings, you'll literally see people like grab their stomachs and things in the audience while you're saying that, because they're like, oh, I didn't know a pound of fat was that much. And it also kind of conditions them to be happier when they do buy Slenderiiz and they get results later that month. If they say they were a little off the 15 to 25 pound pace, maybe they lost 10 pounds, 12 pounds. They start to think, oh, wow, holy crap, I have one here, a thigh, butt, stomach, chest. I mean, a pound of fat, it's a good amount of weight loss to lose. So they can be proud of that. So we know at a 500-calorie deficit a day, at 3,500 calories a week, that's 1 pound of fat. So this is just math. We're just doing the math right here. Now, I say to them, if it were only that simple, burning fat is not simple anymore, because nowadays it's more than just math. In recent kind of years, we've had so many more people come out with thyroid imbalances, hypothalamus hormone issues, blood sugar, insulin, uncontrollable cravings, and then I like to throw in the unclean water and the other environmental factors there, because I'm going to talk about purity just for a second later on in the presentation. I like to condition their mind. What do you mean about unclean water or environmental factors? So these are issues for everyone, and you can't escape these problems because you live in this world and you breathe the air and you drink the water. Now we have a solution for a few of those things. So, like Tim said, you can increase this deficit and get to the 2 or 3 pounds a week Now, I've worked with a lot of clients over the years being a personal trainer, and 2 to 3 pounds a week has always been kind of the norm with fat loss, but very few people actually hit it. It normally has to be mixed in with more exercise, 2 a day is extremely strict. Eating plans, fitness models have asparagus and chicken for breakfast. It's disgusting. And lots of boring, very, very boring cardio that I absolutely hate doing. So if you're one of those disciplined gods that can live your life that way and do all those things 7 days a week for, 12 weeks, 6 months, you're fine doing that. But these people do this either for a living or they do it as one of their hobbies. So it's really important to them, and so they're able to stick with it. Now, if you're not a disciplined god, like Tim said, we have liquid discipline, the 5X fat loss formula. We can increase that 1 pound of fat loss per week to 5 times as much. Now, how it works is basically we have Slenderiiz has 10 homeopathic ingredients. 5 increase fat release from your fat cells, 3 alleviate hunger, which as far as I'm concerned, the product is worth buying just for the appetite suppressants, because that's one of the main issues people have when they're trying to lose weight is the fact that they're starving to death. And then only 2 actually increase your metabolism. So the fat release and the hunger alleviators are the main things we have here. And then I throw in, over the last 2 years, there's been more than 10,000 people tested while creating the formulation for this, just so they know that, a lot of clinical trials, products, and supplement companies say they've done them on like 20 people. So we've had a lot of people go through this, and so we know that it is safe. And I do like to go into that homeopathy and homeopathic ingredients. Slenderiiz is a drug, and I actually prefer to say this to people because Americans especially are so conditioned that drugs are the solution to everything. They think of drugs as being really powerful. And so when you say, like I said earlier, you say you have this homeopathic remedy, they're kind of like, really a pound of fat loss a day with a homeopathic blend, why hasn't this been out for years? Well, the ingredients have been around for 70-plus years, but this formulation has just been formulated over the past 2 years with all these thousands of people. So it's a new formulation. It's a new mixture of the ingredients. And when you're working with homeopathy basically, it works off the law of similars. And in long story short, and this is how you should say it to your guests and people you're talking with, is that homeopathy is the idea that you're optimizing the body to take care of the issue. And when you look at it that way, it's not hard to believe that you can lose 5 pounds of fat a week because the body is more advanced than any technological machinery that they've invented. So if you can optimize a system that's that efficient, then it doesn't seem too unrealistic to lose that much weight. When you're thinking from a drug standpoint, that a pill, so allopathic drugs, as in pharmaceuticals, that's what we're used to hearing about, those go in more, and instead of optimizing the system, they kind of just go into your body and try to eradicate the drug or the issue at hand by themselves, instead of optimizing the system to take care of it. And like Deanna said before, I love when she says this, that's like taking your car to the dealership when the oil light comes on, and instead of having them change the oil, they cut the wire that tells you that your oil needs to be changed. So it's not a solution to the problem. It's not fixing the reason why you have the problem in the first place. So if we don't do that, that's why people lose 100 pounds with other weight loss products and programs, and they gain it right back because they didn't fix the solution. They try to eradicate the symptoms. So that's the difference between homeopathy and allopathic drugs. Now, from the traditional standpoint of drugs, it is drug-free in the pharmaceutical sense. It's stimulant-free, it's hormone-free, and it's non-toxic, 100% natural. And that's pretty much all people seem to care about. I've kind of taken all the questions I've got with one-on-one meetings and all the group meetings and gotten the feedback, and I'll add stuff in here. So that seems to be the only thing people care about. They want to know, what is it? Why would it be that powerful? Okay, it's a homeopathic drug. Got it. No pharmaceuticals. Got it. Oh, it's stimulant-free. Cool. And that's about it. So I like to give them. I learned this from Mark Hoverson, a big internet marketer, MLM guy, and he said that you want to give people a preview into your system or your product that you're selling. Don't leave it such a mystery they don't know what they're going to get. So I like to kind of give them a preview, and now that I know this and I've seen how it works, I've got a lot of nutrition questions. They want to see like the meal plan, so I'm going to add probably the like a screenshot of the meal plan from the booklet from now on. because people they're really reserved about, is it going to be like super, super, super strict with eating and things like that. So I'm going to add that in. But basically, I say it's a non-complicated formula. Slenderiiz you take 3 times per day before breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 10 minutes before, underneath your tongue. Accelerate, you take twice a day, breakfast and lunch, and you follow the nutrition blueprint. And I like to say nutrition blueprint because it really is a blueprint. Deanna and the team did a really good job of putting that together, and it's so simplified, but it literally goes over everything except how to actually cook, like a recipe book, which I think there might be in the works to do that later. But it's a blueprint. It tells them exactly what to do, so that they're not going to be guessing. So when people ask me if this program's hard, I say it's, you got to follow it exactly the way it says to, but you know exactly what to do. It tells you everything, and that's really, really important with a weight loss program. So I actually had this last slide. I've not used this slide yet, so I'm going to show them the Slenderiiz plate, and then I'll probably go to another slide after this of either food or meal examples, or just take a couple pictures of the booklet and put it in there. So when you go into testimonials, it's really important. This is your home run right here. This is where people are going to decide, for the most part, if they're going to buy or not. So don't just flip through testimonials and go, oh, here's Vern, here's Rick, here's whatever. Tell them a little bit of the story of maybe why you like it. And I say I like to put Vern in here because he didn't lose a pound a day for like 20 days. He lost over a pound a day for 2 months straight. That's insane. He did this with no exercise at all. He lost more weight than any of my clients did those 2 months, whatever time he was on that, and they were working out and eating super good. I mean, the last client I put on Slenderiiz, she lost more weight than anyone in the gym the past couple of weeks, and she has like a knee issue. She doesn't even work out very hard. Well, it's because she is on such this amazing formula we have here. So tell a little bit of the story about your testimonials and social proof. Rick, I really like Rick's because 25 pounds in 25 days, it doesn't get much better than that, and he is on the plus side of 40, so his metabolism is not fully optimized, not like Vern, who's in his 20s. This is an older guy that did really good. He's a full-time MLM internet marketer, sits in front of his desk, in front of his computer all day long, doesn't get any exercise. Now, Lisa really gets the crowd engaged really well when you tell her story. This is how you want to tell hers. 81 pounds in 26 weeks. So again, she kept it going for more than a month. And she is paralyzed from her chest down when they told me. So for a long time, I didn't know that. I thought she was just had issues with her legs. I thought she was in a wheelchair, where you push with your arms. She's not. She's paralyzed from her chest down, so she is in an electric wheelchair. So her big metabolic activators, when I say metabolic activator, I mean they're the muscles that burn a lot of calories, are your butt and your legs, so your big muscle groups on your body. So those are what burn so many calories throughout the day, is activating that musculature of your body. Now, she is paralyzed from her chest down, so her big metabolic boosters are deadened musculature. So for this product to work so well on her, I mean, it really, really is super powerful. So if a woman in a wheelchair can lose 81 pounds in 26 weeks, if anyone had an excuse not to lose weight fast, it would be her. So, again, emphasize that she's paralyzed from her chest down. The big half of her body that has all the muscle in it is not being activated, and she's lost, I think it's like 3.11 pounds a week for this 26 weeks. So hers is really good. Then I like to go into, when you're giving social proof, you want to give them spectrums across the board of individuals. So you want to do, the young girls, the older girls, the young guys, the older guys, the people who needed to lose a little bit of weight, the people that needed to lose a lot of weight, people in wheelchairs. Is the big diversity you can give them, the better, because there's someone in the audience. All they have to do is resonate with one of your testimonials, like, oh, that's the person I want to be, or I want to have that transformation. As soon as they think that in their head, they want to buy it. So we want to go, as we go a little bit younger, 17 pounds in 28 days. She didn't even look like she had that much weight to lose, and she lost 17 pounds in 28 days. It's amazing. Michael, 23 pounds in 28 days. So I kind of tell the stories on the first few testimonials, and then I start burning through them a little bit quicker. Nick, he was a client of mine, 15 pounds, got his six-pack. Abs are looking good. People who aren't trying to lose a bunch of weight but just want to get a six-pack. Jason almost already had one before, but he looks a lot better in those after pictures. This was another client of mine, Dave, 17 pounds in 28 days. Jen, 23 pounds in 28 days. I like hers because she looks like 9 years younger in that after picture, and she looks 10 times happier. And when people are like, do you want to be this person? Do you want to be this happier person? You're not just going to lose weight, but your life is going to be better when you get people to visualize their life being better and going to the beach or not being embarrassed of the way they look. That all these emotional triggers, it gets people engaged and ready to buy. Karen, 22 pounds in 28 days. Mike, I liked his because it was a pretty big number, 70 pounds in 90 days. So I've run through those. Some people are giving me feedback. I'm kind of interacting with the audience a little bit. And then I say we're basically going to go into the Slenderiiz complementary products. Let me get a quick drink of water real fast. Now, on the upsells, one time I did this, and actually you'll probably see them off to the side when I get down a little bit further down the slides, but I had the prices of Optimals and Omega Q and all these things. I wouldn't suggest putting those in now that I've learned what I've learned, and I'll tell you in a minute. But I basically, remember when I said unclean water environmental factors earlier? Well, we have a water filtration system that basically you can take anywhere you want, in the drinking fountain, the toilet, the gutter, whatever you want, and you'll have perfectly clean drinking water right away. Bottled water, if you don't know, and I've had like people that work at Pepsi and Nestle like tons of times in the audience, so don't be embarrassed about saying these companies' names. It's just the truth. Most bottled water companies are owned by Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Nestle. How well do you think that these companies filter your water? Do you think they really care? They make Coca-Cola and a bunch of other things. 40% of bottled water is straight tap water. You're paying about a 10,000% markup on what they spend to create that bottle of water. You think gas is expensive? Water is $4 to $8 per gallon. Even if you're buying big, crates of it at Costco, it's still a ripoff, especially if you're getting 40% tap water. If you were actually getting purity water, it still would be a ripoff. But we know you're not getting that from what we've all learned. Now, purity could be an entire webinar by itself. I know Tim's working on some really good marketing materials right now. But I like to go over this real quick because it's such an easy sell, because it's really a redirect of their budget. And whenever you can convince someone that you're just redirecting their funds they're already spending and it's not costing them any money to purchase this, you can make a lot of money and a lot of sales doing that. So I go over this just pretty, real quick. Again, you got to go over the fat loss components. We can't just sell this as a water filtration system. We got to sell it as a fat loss product, right? Because we're doing a fat loss meeting. So we tell them, hey, you have to drink over 100 ounces of water a day. I prefer that to be really clean water, and I'm sure you would too, and not to cost you a bunch of money. So we have a water solution with that. Now, we found in tap water anything from pharmaceutical drugs to rocket fuel, and the reason I put birth control in there is I tell the men in the audience, hey, if you're trying to lose weight, you don't want to be drinking birth control pills. Shooting your estrogen levels up is not a good idea when you're trying to lose weight. The reason I have your neighbor in the parentheses there is that Tim said this before. What your neighbors are doing, you're drinking. If they're on birth control pills, you're on birth control pills, assuming you're drinking regular tap water and things like that. So radioactive materials, rocket fuel, chlorine, fluoride, horrible things for you. So we basically use this technology they got off the back of frog skin where it punctures the organisms and filters it out. It's really cool, really cheap. And I'm always sitting there drinking mine in the presentations, and I tell them I just went over to the drinking fountain that smelled like massive amounts of chlorine and filled it up, and I have this perfectly clean water, and none of them do. So visual perspective on the filter, a lot of people are like, $50, $60 for a little tiny filter. Again, you got to put it in perspective for them. A purity filter is like 10 5-gallon jugs of water, and so when they can think of it that way, if I told you I could deliver the cleanest water you've ever drank in your entire life to your doorstep on a pallet of 50 gallons of the cleanest water in the world for $60 delivered to your door, would you think that was expensive? No. So don't think that you're getting the filter for that much. Think you're getting 50 to 75 gallons of very pure water for that price. And then I pretty much just move on really quick. A meal replacement shake, I tell them, hey, listen, there are other good meal replacement shakes out there. You don't have to drink this one, but I like this one because it's 100% vegetable protein, and I have a lot of vegan clients and people who don't want to have dairy. It's gluten-free. It's soy and dairy-free, two most common allergies. It's GMO-free, and the most important part for this program is it's low glycemic, which is extremely important for fat loss. And the little health thing I like to throw in there is 15 billion CFUs of probiotics, which are super important. So Real quick pause. I don't necessarily say this to the group. I want to say this to you guys so you understand this. If you want to understand how to sell Optimals, Omega Q, Pure Nourish, you need to understand this concept real quick. I like to call it the triangle of health. So imagine a body in front of you, and the body is made up of, in its most basic form, anywhere from your fingernail to your eyeball, everything's made up of cells. So your body is made up of approximately 75 trillion cells. Now, cells are nourished and fed not necessarily calorically by calories, but by vitamins and minerals. So you need a high dosage, cellular dosage of vitamins and minerals on a regular basis to feed the 75 trillion cells of your body just to be healthy. From a fat loss perspective, that means that if your body is being deprived of vitamins and minerals, your brain can send out hunger signals to you saying that you're hungry. Tim said this on Wednesday night's call. So you go eat half the pizza, an hour later, you're starving again. You go eat the other half of the pizza, an hour later, you're starving again because your body is not getting what it wants. You have to satisfy the body with vitamins and minerals. Now, Omega Q, or fish oil, your body, all the 75 trillion cells, their houses that protect them, is called a membrane, and it's made up predominantly of fat. Now, you want it to be ideally a 1-to-1 ratio, no more than a 2-to-1 ratio of omega-6s to omega-3s. Omega-6s, again, try to stick with me, this gets a little bit confusing. Omega-6s cause an inflammatory response when they break down, and that's in our grains and all of these starchy carbohydrates we're eating. Omega-3s are in our plants and our leaves. Well, we don't eat very many of those anymore. We don't eat enough vegetables. Also, our cattle, our chickens, everything on farms now are fed corn and grain. So their fats and meats that we eat used to have omega-3s in them. Unless you eat grass-fed, they don't anymore. So there's another second dose of omega-3s we used to get that we don't get anymore. So our membranes are totally screwed up with the ratios. The average autopsy they do, on Americans anyway, when they die, they're at a 20-to-1 ratio of omega-6s to omega-3s. And that is a humongous inflammatory response. And if you understand disease, you'll know that pretty much everything in its basic form is inflammation. Every disease is just inflammation of the body. So it's really important that we take fish oil and omega-Q to up the ratio of omega-3s to omega-6s in our body. And the third component is your probiotics that go into your gut. Now, a lot of people don't know that 80% of your immune system lives in your gut. So if you want to be healthy and not get sick, you need a balanced bacteria ratio of your good bacteria, your probiotics, and your bad bacteria. We don't take probiotics in our natural diet anymore because it used to be in the dirt and soil that our fruits and vegetables grew in. Well, everything's sprayed with herbicides and pesticides and everything nowadays that we don't get those anymore either. So you literally, no matter how good you eat, need to be taking a vitamin and mineral, omega-Q, and Pure Nourish or some kind of probiotic. Well, if you passionately and really understand this and believe it, you will sell this stuff no problem, but you really have to believe it. If you don't really think anyone needs Pure Nourish or vitamins and minerals are just kind of optional, that if they eat good, they don't really need it, if you really believe that, you're in the wrong business because you're not going to sell very much of this stuff unless you really are convicted to tell people this, that they really need to know this. Now, again, like I said, we got to wrap everything in fat loss to make it look pretty for every one of these presentations. So the Optimals on the slide here, I don't say that it nourishes 75 trillion cells. I say it averages 5 more pounds of weight loss in a 1-month period. That's what they care about. They would rather me tell them that than that it cures cancer. Now, we are going to educate them and tell them why they need it, but first we get their attention. Hey, 5 more pounds of fat loss, guys, if you add these Optimals to the Slenderiiz. Not only that, you should be taking these anyway for the rest of your life because, and I go over the 75 trillion cells, and I don't go over in detail what I just did with you guys, but I basically say you have about 75 trillion cells your body's made up of, and they need vitamins and minerals. The reason it works so well for losing fat is because it turns off the hunger signals of your brain, and it gives your body the nourishment. Now, do you think if it's actually causing your body to send out hunger signals, it's probably a good idea that we take them because it's probably causing a lot of other damage if that's just one of the side effects of not taking them. So it regulates insulin, skin and hair. I like to throw in some extra things that girls like, the skin and hair stuff. So that's the Optimals. Omega-Q, like I said, we got to start with the fat loss first. Now, Deanna has not given me any numbers. I don't know if she hasn't done a test group yet with the Omega-Q, but she's been giving me percentages on a lot of the products. So the last fat loss paper I read on fish oil, the group that took the fish oil lost 14% more, and that was in the most recent study. Now, I'm thinking that our study will probably be even more than this because they probably were not using a very high-quality fish oil for the study, but we've known for years, personal trainers have been saying this to their clients, take fish oil, it aids in fat loss. And a really cool thing I like to throw in there is that with heart health, reduces heart attack by 50%. Now, that is a huge number. That means if you are 100% guaranteed to die of a heart attack, you have half the chance of dying of one by taking fish oil, if you have a 100% chance of dying. So remember that. That's good. A lot of the men in the audience will resonate with that really well. And like I said, it protects the house of the body cell. I don't go into membrane ratios and things like that with the audience. So we start with fat loss, give them the heart health thing, and it also protects the body cells. It's something you need to keep taking. So we're conditioning them for auto ship when they get off Slenderiiz. Rejuvenex, you turbocharge. Now, I don't tell anyone that they need to take this from a health perspective. It's not necessary for them, but you are healthier if you do take it than if you don't take it. So basically, it's energy without the jitters. We got a big dosage of natural caffeine, but we have this ingredient called L-theanine. I think I say that right, theanine, and that kind of cancels out the jitters you get from the caffeine. So you get the buzz, you get the stimulant from the caffeine that keeps you going, but you're not necessarily, freaking out, and that's important for a lot of people. A lot of people are really sensitive to caffeine. You wouldn't think of it with our Starbucks crazes and everything like that, but those are lower dosages of caffeine than a lot of supplements are. So a lot of people, especially, this is just what people have told me, older women do not seem to care for high dosages of caffeine from what the information I've gathered. And the best part of it is it is a 17% increase in fat loss with Rejuvenex, and that is our studies. That's Deanna's studies with the product. So 17% increase in fat loss with Rejuvenex. So that's I like to get them on energy packs, get them on the Omega Q if we can as well, because Rejuvenex, it's not an Omega Q. It's not a optimal product. It's not part of the optimals. So it's something they might cancel later on, so I really like to educate them on, the Pure Nourish and the Omega Q, because we want to keep these auto ship and these points up high. Imagine if we can keep customers with 75 or 100 points plus every month on auto ship. I mean, they're so valuable to us. If you have a huge organization with, a 5-to-1 ratio of customers over distributors that are on these, pretty decent size auto shipment packages, your checks are going to be huge. Also, little tidbit for customers. If you want to go out and get customers, a newbie can get a customer easier than they can get a rep a lot of the times. It's easier for them to talk about the fat loss they've gotten with Slenderiiz than the money they haven't made yet. So in a sense, they've purchased the business and they're not necessarily a business person yet because they haven't made any money with it. So if we can get really good at getting our downlines to recruit people in right away, if they get 5, 8, 10 customers, which if you're doing it right is not hard to do at all, they are profiting at that point. So they are making money. Now that they're making money, now they have this other, string of confidence that they can use when talking to people because they actually are making money with this business. And they can show people how to get customers because they've already done it. So it's a much more duplicatable model for them. Also, if you're really good at these presentations and you're doing them and your group is growing and more people are showing up every week or every month, how often you do these, it's really reassuring to them that they don't have to learn this stuff right away. They can just just get good at the inviting formula like Tim teaches and gets them to get their people to the meeting that you're doing, and they could assign their customers up, and you're the one selling them for them. So it's really good for modeling success that way. Now, I basically ended with, hey, Slenderiiz is $150. There's a preferred customer thing you can do. I kind of keep that short while I'm talking with the group, and I'll kind of go more into it individually when we're getting the orders in. And I mentioned the Slenderiiz 10. If you want to get a little bit bulk package, there are discounts on getting the bulk packages, but I'll tell you that when you're ordering. And the reason I do that is because when someone decides to buy, if you show them $400 or $500 packages, they might not rush over there to buy, but they might rush over there to spend their $150. But while they're in line, off of impulse, it's either, I think, 7 or 9 times more likely to buy when they're in buying heat. That's why all these internet marketing funnels on the internet for, products, they sell you like a $10 or a $17 or $27 product, and their upsells are like 10 times the price of their initial product they got you in on. And there's like $297, $497 upsells after you've pressed submit your order. Well, that's because they know that people aren't buying heat when they just purchase something. So you get them to purchase the Slenderiiz, and you are morally obligated to be very, very good at this. and get people to buy. Because if you really believe that ARC's products are as good as I do, then you will do everything you can to sell this stuff. I mean, you have to be good at this. We have to be better than all the other companies. And I believe so strongly in what ARC's is doing. I believe that we should be the only network marketing company. So it's really important that we get really good at selling this. So strong close to action. You don't have to do this. This is a tip. But if you want to do a little bit of scarcity, that's the other way to get people to buy. Now, I don't lie to people and tell them, hey, I'm only selling 9 of these right now. If you're number 10, you're not going to get it. So ideally, if you are having a party or an event, you want to have product on hand that you can sell right then. Now, you can put them in the system as a preferred customer, but what you need to do is for their first shipment, you need to ship it to your address so you get your product back, and then make sure on the other shipment you get the address changed to their real address. Now, the reason for this is that you might not want to be doing like retail stuff where you're taking cash or taking credit cards and doing it yourself. It's kind of a short-term thinking on how to build your business. For long-term, you want to put them in the system and get them on as preferred customers. So if you can swing it and you can afford to purchase some product, I would recommend getting a 10-pack of Slenderiiz and adding on Rejuvenex, Optimals, those sets if you can for these parties. If you can't, don't worry. Don't make that be a reason that you don't do this. But if you can, get more people in the room than you have in product. So if you have 5, 7, 8, Slenderiiz packs, and do your best to get 15 people there because, and you aren't lying, you are literally just saying, hey, listen, this is over. If you guys want to get this, let's do it. To be honest, I only have 5 Slenderiiz packs. Now, anyone who's here, you can get it if you want, but we're going to have to order it. The first 5 that buy, you will get your product right now. I will give it to you. The rest of you guys are going to have to wait 3 to 5 days for it to come in the mail. No issue. We can get you guys all in, but that's just the truth. That's all I have here. And then I stop. That created a huge buyer's rush, and I had this line like going out the door of people that wanted products they didn't think they were going to get it. One time I even had enough for everybody. I had enough Slenderiiz, but I didn't have enough like Optimals and Omega, and no one even seemed that interested in it. But when I told them they couldn't have it, maybe they like freaked out, and they all wanted it. And people came in there to spend $150, and they were walking out spending $450 and these huge packages. So anyway, that's a tip on that. You don't have to do that. If you are going to do orders only, then you don't really have a choice. You can't really do anything to create any kind of scarcity with the products. You just got to get people on, but it does work better if you have products there. So if you can swing it, do it. These slides were here for my reference. I did not present those. I don't go over all of this. I do it. You just have to do it again when they're ordering because they're going to forget, and they're going to want to know the total amount anyway. They don't really care what everything costs per product. They want to know what the end amount is going to be. So that is your strong call to action. I had a few notes here. I want to make sure I went over everything with you guys. But the main thing you need to remember is that confused people don't buy. So I hope I didn't make this too confusing for you guys today. But that is basically the presentation that I've used to, it's been updated, obviously. The 4 pillars, I didn't use that stuff back, months and months ago. So I've revised it and made it better and better. Now, this is not something you want to do. This is obviously not an 11-second elevator speech to get to someone. You basically would start with the first slide when talking with someone and say, I have a product that I market 15 to 25 pounds in 28 days is what our test groups are getting. And you just stop and wait for their reply. But when you're doing a group meeting or 2 or 4 or 5 people, depending on where you're at, how much time you want to spend, one-on-one with people. I don't do one-on-one presentations with anyone for customers. I just do the group stuff only. But I mean, you can do this online now. If you guys have been, taking pictures of these slides and stuff, I don't care that you use them. This hasn't been approved by anyone, so it hasn't been approved by anyone at ARC. So I'm taking my hands off there. I don't know if I think it's okay that you guys use this stuff in the testimonials. I mean, I got permission from my clients, like a written permission that I could use these testimonials from them, and the rest of the testimonials were online, like on the Slenderiiz sites and stuff. So I'm assuming those were okay to use. But I think all the lingo and stuff I'm saying is okay to say. As far as I know, I like to ask for forgiveness instead of permission. So, but really what you need to get is that the Optimals and the Omega Q and all these upsells, you need to be good at that. You can't just sell Slenderiiz. You don't want to be one of those 90-day challenge companies that we got to get new customers all the time because they stop using the product. We want customers for life. Do you want to sell the flashlight or do you want to sell the batteries that go in it? We want to sell the reoccurring products that they're going to take for life. Just the other day I was signing up a preferred customer, and she was getting Slenderiiz, and she was like, I'll get the Optimals too, and she was only buying them because of the 5 pounds of fat loss I mentioned. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to put you on auto ship because you get the product cheaper. We can cancel it at any time. We just, call in and get it canceled. But do you want me to put you on auto ship for just the Slenderiiz for next month because you want to do a second cycle, or should I put you on for Slenderiiz 10 or the Optimals? And she looked at me and she was like, well, I probably should take those vitamins anyway, right? And I was like, yeah, for the rest of your life, you probably should. And she was like, oh, okay. So we've got to get people on these back-end products just for their own benefit. So they're healthy for the rest of their life. It's all the stuff we just talked about. So not just for fat loss. I think that is it. Arlene, I think you said you wanted to open up maybe for some questions if people had them.
Yes,
but
I do.
That is pretty much it.
Yeah, I'm going to take it off mute, but thank you for just let me say my thank you, because we've what a great presentation on renewing some of the things that we've thought of and we know we should do, doing the upsales. That is the key to our business right there. So I'm going to
line unmuted.
And this will give you guys a chance to ask your questions. If you'd be so kind as, if you don't have a question, put your phone on mute, that you can ask a question. So, who has the question?
John, this is Marilee. I have a question.
Hi.
When you have people coming to you, they're ready to buy, do you let them tell you what they want? Do you wait for them to say, okay, I just want the Slenderiiz and the Optimals, or do you help them and suggest something, or how does that work at the very end?
I think I heard you. Arlene, is there a major echo?
Yeah. If someone has their phone on speaker, and it gives us an echo. So if you have your phone on speaker, take it off and please mute your phone, because it was very difficult to hear Marilee. Let's try it again. Marilee, could you ask your question again? And let's see if
yeah. I don't know if it's going to be any better.
It sounds a little better. Just talk a little bit slower. I talk super fast, so I'm probably not a good example, but it seems to be it kind of fades out for a second. So if you talk slow, I think I might hear you better.
Okay. My question is, at the end, when you have people coming in ready to buy, do you just let them tell you what they want? Do they just come to you and say, well, I want the Slenderiiz and I want the Optimals? Or are they kind of confused and you need to help them with, do they want Pure Nourish? Do they want the Omega? How does that work at the end?
Yeah, everyone is a little bit different. Some people are like, okay, I want the Slenderiiz, and you'll just ask them, well, do you want anything else? Well, yeah, what do you think I should get? They just want a few questions answered. They don't know. So I don't just wait for them, because they'll just a lot of the time just tell you Slenderiiz, because they don't. A lot of people are embarrassed actually to ask questions. So, I assume obviously they're getting Slenderiiz. That's what they came to the meeting for. So I go, okay, so you're going to get any additional products, Optimals, Omega Q. I'll present them with a Slenderiiz 10 pack as well. Not the 10 pack, but the Slenderiiz 10, where the Pure Nourish and the Optimals are in there. And so, I just give them, I kind of just say this is my professional recommendation that you do take these. Yes, you need to take, you heard everything I just said. You need to take vitamins and minerals and Omega Q for the rest of your life. So I know you can't swing it, budget-wise, you can't do it. But if you can, I would definitely get what you can. And normally they'll say, okay, well, I think I'll get, I normally have the bottles of everything right there, like on the desk or whatever as well, so you can kind of like visualize it again, because a lot of you assume that they remember like everything you said and they know all the products as good as you do. You got to have them there again. The Optimals, Omega Q. We went over a lot of information, so they don't remember. So they'll normally take you up the Optimals, because people are, if there's one thing America is conditioned to know, it's that they know they need to take a multivitamin. Fish oil has gotten bigger in the past 5 years, but really what they've known for the past 15 years, people pretty much, most people argue that they need to be on a multivitamin. So they'll agree to be on the Optimals, and they'll want the Rejuvenex because energy and 70% extra fat loss is sexy, and so they'll take that. And then a lot of people want no replacement shakes, so they don't want to have to, cook, or they think in case of emergency they'll have the shake. So those are pretty easy upsells right there. But I definitely recommend, and I think I'm morally obligated to do that. So I don't push that. I'm like, are you sure you don't want that? Really? Come on, I'm not like a used car salesman, but I definitely very highly recommend things to them. And you might get 50% of them to add another product, or a small percentage of people. Again, they teach this in any marketing course, whether it's for coaching or products. There's a certain percent of people that just, I don't know whether they think more highly of themselves, and that's a good thing, but there's a certain percent of people that will always buy the biggest package you have to offer. They think of themselves as the big package, and they want the best, and they want to give themselves the best, and they have the money to do it. So by not asking for that sale to the person that wants to buy 4 bags of Pure Nourish, Slenderiiz, Optimals, Omega Q, Rejuvenex, the water bottle, there's people that will spend that $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 is nothing to them. So if you are hesitant to ask for the sale because maybe you can't afford it or something like that, not saying you can't, you can do yourself a big disservice, because not asking for it might cause them not to buy it because they're just not thinking. They're just like, yeah, I'll take the Slenderiiz, and they leave. So you've got to ask for that sale, because a certain percentage of people, no matter how bad you are at selling it, will buy it no matter what. They'll buy the biggest package you have to offer.
Great. Thank you.
Very good.
Hey, John.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, good.
John, this is Gary
yeah?
from Arizona.
Hey, what's up?
Question on RestoreX. Do you ever stress detoxification because of fat loss?
Yeah, I do. I didn't want to have, with RestoreX, I didn't add it in there because I was a little bit, not worried, but a little hesitant about having too many products. And cleansing is good, but in my city, there's a big, there's a company going around that starts with ISA and ends with Genix, and they are really pushing the whole cleanse thing. And I think people are a little bit burnt out about cleansing their gut anyway around here. And so I left it out of mine recently, but I'll put it in there. But I wanted a really good pitch for it. But it is one of the higher priced products. So again, it takes the packages up a little bit higher in price, and not that that's a bad thing. But I know they're coming out with new packages and stuff for the launch of the websites and things like that. But no, the Restore is great, especially for people that have more weight to lose. I didn't want to confuse people too much, and I really like the Optimal Omega Q pitch, and then the Rejuvenex is just so easy to sell. I have it in there, and then obviously I have the water in because they need to drink 100-plus ounces. So I was trying to simplify it, I guess. But again, I mean, you mess around with this any way you want to. It's like you're passionate about the RestoreX and you think it's really good, and I do think it's really good. That's going to show through in your presentation. So add it in there. Do whatever you want. This isn't like the perfect presentation at all. Mess with it. I've changed it so many times already. So yeah, I do believe the RestoreX is really good for fat loss because there's so many toxins. People think they sweat out their fat. Well, you do not want to sweat out your fat because there's so many toxins and chemicals in it. So RestoreX, a passive cleanse going through your body and taking out all the heavy metals and things like that, that is great, and it also will aid in fat loss as well. It takes a little bit for me to talk to people about RestoreX because they're so used to the company going around that cleanses the colon out so much that I don't want them to think it's a colon cleanse. And then I go to the heavy metal stuff. It just I do it on a one-on-one basis all the time. If I'm talking to someone and just mentioning things to them, I'll talk about RestoreX. I just haven't put it in the presentation yet, but I should, and I will.
Okay. Are you going to share this PowerPoint with us?
I can. Like I said earlier, I didn't. This hasn't been approved by anyone, so I'm not. I don't want anyone to get in trouble or anything. I think it's fine. I've only used it for my personal use. I've never put it online or anything. So, but yeah, I don't care.
Well, I'll have Stefan talk with you about that, and we'll send out a bulletin on that. But and see
very well done.
Exactly how we want to do that. But I
Thank
think
you.
There were so many good slides there. It gives you a good format of ideas to put together. But yes, we'll follow through with that, John, and have Stefan and work with you on that. And we'll see.
Yeah. We'll put it in the partners, or when we get an approved version, we'll just put it in the partners or post it in the email. So yeah, no, definitely, you guys. No one needs to be doing all this work by themselves. That's what network marketing is. The corporate team. That's why they have us to create these marketing materials. They don't necessarily provide everything. If they did, they wouldn't need us, and they would just be a retail supplement company. So we're the marketing arm of their business model. So everyone shouldn't be, we should collaborate and use each other's things when we find out it's working well. So yeah, you guys shouldn't all go make your own PowerPoint when I've already done a lot of the work. We should, just take from each other and use what's working and share everything, so we don't have to, to redo things over and over and over again.
Exactly.
Arlene?
Yes, speak up so we can hear you.
This is Larry.
Larry, you're going to have to talk louder because you're just really soft.
Can you hear me?
A little louder.
I wanted to know if it was okay to find out where John, he's in California?
Yeah, I'm in Bakersfield.
Oh, you're
about an hour and a half north of L.A.
Oh, my God. I know. I was raised in Shafter, California.
Oh, really? That's funny. Where are you now?
I'm in Manteca, California.
Say that again, the town?
Manteca, by Stockton, Modesto.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, my mom's side of the family grew up in Shafter. You probably know a few of them since there's only like 33 people that live there.
My sister and brother still live there.
Oh, really? Okay. Cool. Yeah, my great-grandpa was like a family physician there, and a lot of people knew him. But cool. Yeah, I'm just right here, Bakersfield.
What's your last name?
John, this is Cynthia from San Francisco.
Hey, Cynthia, what's up?
Hi. I just wanted to ask you if you could review with us how you do the invitation to your meeting. What formats do you use? Do you use social media? Do you use just walking up to people and speaking to them? How do you invite them?
Yeah, I recently I've just been using email and Facebook, so it's been like nothing fancy. I'm not like jumping out of bushes, screaming at people. You want to lose some weight? So what I am going to do, I think, is have my team, a few of the key leader guys I have, and me go to like the local salons and people that have clientele that you probably would think that would like to use this, and make some postcards, because postcards can be expensive, but what's really expensive about postcards is mailing them, not necessarily getting them made. So if you do it on foot, you can drive to the businesses within like a 5-mile radius of your home or wherever you're going to do the meeting at, and walk in. I haven't done this yet, so this is just an idea I've had, but I think it would work good because, again, the pitch, you're not inviting them to do a vitamin and mineral meeting. You're doing this for a very, very sexy product. So you give them a postcard that says lose 15 to 25 pounds in 28 days, RSVP here. You either put the number, we'll have our Slenderiiz replicated sites soon. And take postcards into these places, and you'd want to have at least 8 before and after pictures. You'd probably want like a double-sided postcard. So that's what I think I'm going to do when we run out of more of our warm market. But it's so you can do stuff like that. I recommend not spending any money promoting at first, just at first, because there's so many like the lower hanging fruit is like right there, and people talk about their warm market like in a weird way. Your warm market is so much bigger than you really think it is, because your warm market, between your warm market and your cold market, is called your fuzzy market. And it's the people that you kind of know. You don't really know them. You wouldn't consider them warm market, but it's the person like you've talked to at the gym for like 3 years and like you barely know their name. You would never call them to hang out. You don't have their number, but you've just talked to them at the gym. You see them at this place. It's like the restaurant owner, or it's your friend of friends. That market is so much bigger, and statistically, that's where like your big leaders will come from. It's from your fuzzy market, your friends of friends, people you don't know very well, because they respect you. They respect your ID because they don't know you well enough. They're not like your older brother who like saw you pee your pants when you were younger. They don't know you, so for all they know, you're like this really smart business person. So your fuzzy market's all where your big rep, your big leaders will come from. But from a product standpoint, there's so many people to talk to just on like Facebook and having your team send out emails. So if you're doing it by yourself and you only had you haven't signed up a rep yet and you just want to have a product meeting, then friends, family, warm market, email, Facebook, and if you wanted to, you could do the postcard stuff. But it's not as overwhelming presenting to people first until you get a little bit better at the presentation. So if you can't close people, there's no reason to spend any money on marketing because you're not making any money. So you got to be able to sell first. So you need to be good at the presentation. You got to make sure you're comfortable talking in front of people and doing the presentation, that you're getting a good closing ratio at the end that people are actually buying, because then you can't calculate your marketing budget when you don't know how many people you're statistically going to close if you put a room of 10 people in. So if it costs you $10 to get each person in the room and you don't sell $100 in profit of products, then you're not doing very well. You're going to be losing money. So free first until you know somewhat your ratios and you're really confident you can close a big majority of the room, if not the whole room, before you spend any money and stuff. So, yeah, email and Facebook is how we've been doing it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I like the
No problem.
idea, too.
Okay, do we have some other people? We have a couple more minutes.
I put everyone to sleep.
Oh, no. I think you've covered it so well, John. How can we ever thank you for taking the time, for getting up so early? Because running a gym, you probably were up late last night just taking care of business, and you probably have much to do this morning. And so there's just, we are so grateful, this whole team. We've had quite a good people coming on this morning, a good attendance, so I'm trying to say, and so I appreciate those people that have been on here, that are on here now, and thank you for coming. I do want to have a call to action, because as we're leaving this call, we have another call that we're approaching, which will be here in the Mountain Time. It'll be 2 hours from now. It'll be at 11 o'clock my time, but 10 o'clock on California time. And Central Time will be, of course, an hour later, 12 o'clock. And if you're on the East Coast, like Patty is, then it'd be 1 o'clock. But this is a call that you will not want to miss. We were in the office yesterday talking to Mark and to Jeff and some of the other people there, and they gave us a little insight into it a little bit. And there are going to be surprises there that we haven't heard about. Deanna has got some statistics that they're going to be sharing with us, packages, sneak previews of things that are to come. And I am so excited. It's like a Christmas present. But with that coming, the website won't be here until the first week or second week into January. So that doesn't mean that we cannot step forward right now, this moment, and start building our funnel. We need to fill it up with weight loss customers and get them in, get their products there. Everybody's buying gifts. Have them think about what is the best gift that I could give to myself. True health, weight loss, reversing your diabetes, getting off some of your meds. For me, it was getting in a size 8 pair of jeans. I mean, what a Christmas gift this has been to me. So, there's things that we need to be visiting with as we talk to people, as we go to parties, as we have the opportunity to visit. Everybody's going to talk about, well, after January 1, I'm going to lose weight. This is a time to tweak their interest. People are going to be missing out on all the free products. I think we haven't emphasized that enough. Just think, $1,000 worth of free products if you sign up with an Elite Pack. I wish I could sign up for that, because I'd love to have that extra surprise coming in every month. Or what about the tax advantages for people to sign up? We've kind of let that slide by. I was talking to Mark yesterday. I was talking to a friend. He says, well, I think I'll get started the first of the year. And he says, that's fine, but look at all the money you're leaving on the table. And the guy says, what? And he says, well, the tax advantage and the free products. But Mark says, that's your choice. If you want to lose that kind of money, that's what you want to do. And the guy says, whoa, wait a minute. And he says, let's talk about this some more. So, we need to throw out those carrots and let people see that they are leaving money on the table. So, and the water bottle is going to be going off Monday. So if you have somebody on your list that you think, I need to get them a water bottle, or you want to stock up your water bottles for some presentations that you're going to be doing, now's the time to take advantage of the free offers that we have there. So with that said, John, did you have anything else you wanted to add before we leave?
Just the fact that if you guys, what I mainly wanted you to get from this is that we're throwing these meetings on the front end with the sexy products, Slenderiiz and Purity. We're not doing Purity yet, or at least I haven't done it. But the front end, we're selling Slenderiiz, and that's how we're getting people super interested. But the fortune's made in the back end, so do not neglect these vitamins, minerals, Omega-Q, Rejuvenex, Restorex, all the other great products we have. That's where your big residual $100,000 a month incomes are going to come from, not necessarily from Slenderiiz. you'll make a lot of money with Slenderiiz, and it's the easiest product I've ever seen to sell. Tim said it as well, that this is the best product that's probably ever hit the network marketing industry, and it truly is, but it's a very good marketing platform for the other products as well. So just know that when you're presenting that you're selling the result of all these products. You're not selling 2 little bottles for $150. You're selling 15 to 25 pounds of fat loss for $150, and you're selling the ultimate goal of fitness and health. So if you want to keep your auto ships up and your checks big, make sure you do that right.
All right. Well, thank you with that. And with that, we'll close. Thank everybody for coming. Next week we will have another call that will go and we're going to discuss what is our plan of action. How are we going to fill that pipeline? You want to be on that with all the good stuff we've been talking about. And then on your calendars right now, I want you to write that on December the 29th, Tim Sales will be on our call to talk to us about goal setting and discipline. That's what he did last year, and he's going to be back this year. You'll need to mark that on your calendar, the 29th of December, so that you have heads up and you can get people on this call, because as you know, Tim is such a wonderful person to share such great information as John has been today. So, John, we thank you so very much. So with that, I say goodbye, and I'm going to
Conference recording stopped.
And thank you guys for being here, and hope to see you on the other side at 11 o'clock. So,
Thanks, Arlene.